I'm going to remarry, so you should divorce me. I will give you the house, but the money and the high-class car are mine.
I'm sure my not-so-handsome husband is on the other end of the phone with a smug look on his face. I don't blame him for not knowing how good a deal it would be for me. Well, even if he wasn't on those terms, I'm confident that I'd be ahead of him. Let me tell you how scary that payback can be. My name is Ellie. I'm 40 years old, and I recently bought a new pillow because the old one wasn't comfortable. It still isn't as comfy as I'd like, even if I put a towel under it. So I guess I will have to buy another one. Now, I live a stress-free life, where the only thing I have to worry about is my pillow. I used to have a headache over my stressful life until just a few years ago. At that time, I was worried about my husband's infidelity. He's been going out way too many times. Could it be cheating? I had no proof that he was cheating on me, just that he was coming home late and going out more often on his days off. There are some traits that men who cheat on their wives have in common, but he does not seem to have his phone on hand during the daytime, nor does he seem to be calling someone. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I've heard of women who have made that mistake and I couldn't let it go. I asked my husband a few times, "You don't have another woman, do you?" I tried to say that in a teasing way.
No way. It's not like I'm handsome or anything.
He just laughed it off. His reply was not particularly strange, but rather natural. But you know, something is bugging me. I don't have enough experience in love to be able to say that this is what you call a woman's intuition, so I'm not sure. But one day, when I was thinking like that, I got a call that my mother-in-law, who lived nearby, had collapsed. It seems that she suddenly collapsed while shopping and was rushed to the hospital, and that she had a hemorrhage that was too severe. My husband was at work when the call came in. I went to the hospital alone. My husband's workplace does not allow him to look at his cell phone while he is at work. He would have noticed it during his next lunch break, and he would have come to me because of the situation, I thought. When my husband called me during his lunch break, he said,
"I'm busy today, so I can't come no matter what."
Although it was a very busy time of the year when his father got ill, his boss told him,
"You can visit him whenever you want."
In fact, my husband went to the hospital all the time. It has been less than 3 years since then, so why can't he come visit her this time? I haven't heard that his boss has been replaced. There were many times when he came home late, but he went out for dinner with his colleagues or something. He never seems to be busy with such things before. My mother-in-law collapsed, but my husband didn't go to visit her. Why is he so busy at such an important time? I'm a little bothered because I suspected that my husband was cheating. I can't help but feel sorry for my mother-in-law, though it can't be helped if it's work. In the end, my mother-in-law spent many days unconscious on the bed. During that time, I went to the hospital often, but my husband never once showed up. "So you're just gonna leave everything to me?" my husband said.
She's unconscious and wouldn't be able to understand what I'm talking about. So what's the point?
"But it might make a difference if you just talk to her."
That's just a superstition. They can hear you, you know.
He just laughed at me. "You never know unless you try. We haven't been in a coma ourselves, so we don't know, right?"
If it bothers you so much, why don't you try to talk to her?
My husband was always making excuses to have dinner with his boss or to relax on his days off. I never felt any of his concern for my mother-in-law. Just before my father-in-law passed away, even though he was unconscious, Charles took time out of his work schedule to visit him. It is a mystery to me why there is such a difference in his attitude toward my mother-in-law compared to that toward my father-in-law, even though he never seems to dislike her. My mother-in-law has been very good to me, and there is no reason for her son to dislike her. Now that we have been married for a long time, I knew something was different. It was a rainy day. I had just left the supermarket after visiting my mother-in-law in the hospital. It was raining hard, and my vision was limited by the umbrella. But I saw my husband and a stranger entering an apartment building under a shared umbrella. I caught a glimpse of them, and I think they were arm in arm. I was shocked to see him walking with his mistress on the way home from the hospital, that I was a little stuck there. I knew he was cheating on me. I regretted not having a camera. I could have used the evidence to my advantage, but the fact that he never went to his mother and instead went to the woman's house with such enthusiasm, the word filthy popped up in my mind. I am filled with anger rather than sadness or frustration. I would question my husband with all the evidence I could muster. That's what I thought. But 2 days later, I received a call from the hospital that my mother-in-law had passed away. It had been a month and a half since she was hospitalized, and she had been on a mend for a while, but the shock was too much. After witnessing my husband's affair, I felt as if I didn't want to talk to him. But just as I was trying to be a proper couple with him in front of my mother-in-law, he said to me,
"I can't go to the funeral."
"What?" I couldn't believe my ears when my husband said that. "She's your own mother, isn't she? Why are you being so cold? Your mother is dead."
As much as I'd love to go, I have to go to work.
"Liar! You're going to that girl's place anyway, aren't you?" I held my mouth without thinking. I was going to pretend as if I didn't know about the affair yet. I was so angry that I ended up bursting it out.
"What? You knew?" "Yes, she's more important than a dead parent. This is an important time indeed."
"What the hell? That's disgusting!" I got angry and slapped my husband, crying. He sighed in disapproval and said,
"I'm going to work."
He heads for the door with his bag in his hand. I have so many things to say, and I want to grab my husband by his shirt and yell at him. But I was so frustrated and angry that I couldn't take a single step. Filthy, irresponsible, selfish, outrageous. I can't stop thinking of all those words. I didn't want to send my mother-in-law off like this, so I tried my best to calm down and wiped away the tears from my eyes, thinking that at least I should send her off properly. I cooled my eyes and went to the funeral. When I returned from the funeral that night, there was no car in the garage, and my husband had not returned home yet. I guess he's probably just relaxing with that girl, thinking that the affair is out in the open. It really pisses me off. Remembering my frustration before I left home again, I opened the drawer to put the pearl necklace I was wearing back on the shelf. I realized my bank book was missing. It should be here. I went through the contents to see if I had misplaced it, but there was no sign of it. In fact, the contents were in their usual orderly state, so it couldn't have gotten lost anywhere. The other item, my husband's expensive watch, which I had kept for him, was also missing. He used to wear it when he was entertaining a special guest, to put himself in a good mood. He was not wearing it when he left the house today. I had a bad feeling about this, so I checked the whole house. My husband's backbook was gone, and I found that the clothes in the wardrobe were missing. That man, he left the house during the funeral? I thought he might have gone out to the neighborhood, but he wouldn't take his clothes and run away. I was just about to call when I got a phone call from my husband.
"Hello? Oh, Ellie, Did you finish the funeral?
Huh? If you care about the funeral, you should at least go. Where are you right now?
I'm still at work.
That's a lie. Don't play dumb with me. Where's my bank book?
What? I tried to take it out of the room as gently as possible. But have you already noticed? I was trying to stall you. But if you already found out, I guess I will have to do it. I got my girlfriend pregnant. I need a fresh start.
What?
I will remarry, so you should divorce me. I will give you the house, but the money and the expensive car are mine. I left you the papers and everything. You should be grateful. Ha ha ha.
Oh, I got a great deal.
Ha ha ha. Huh?
To be honest, my husband's declaration was too much of a lucky deal for me. What do you mean, huh? That's my line. Are you sure you want to do it under those conditions?
What do you mean you got a great deal? You got a little something stashed away in that shabby house?
Might be close.
What do you mean?
I didn't tell you this because I was going to say no. But our neighbor actually wants to buy our land.
What? Why? It's a shabby house, and not in the best of neighborhoods.
Their neighbor wants her son and his wife to come back with their kids and build a house on our land. There are kindergartens and elementary schools nearby.
Well, but the land is so cheap. No wonder how much it will be sold to the neighbor for.
My husband snickered. Don't you know? The value of the land around here is going up. They are planning to build a large commercial and tourist place nearby, so it will be more convenient. There's a rumor there's going to be a train station. The neighbor's son is planning to move here in anticipation. He said he will pay more than the market price for the land if we sell it to him. That's twice what we paid for. My husband was stunned by what I said. The price of the land alone is more than the money in my bank book and the car. And for the record, I hardly ever drive, and that car isn't even an eco-friendly car, is it? You call it a luxury car, but an old-school Mercedes. I don't need it because it's expensive to maintain. The time has come for eco-friendly cars. Yes, our car was certainly a well-known luxury car when we bought it. But after more than 15 years, the car is a shabby condition, and it costs a lot of money to maintain it. My husband may feel brand recognition because it was a luxury car that he was able to buy. As for me, it is just a piece of iron left behind by the times. There was no reason for me to want it.
Well, if you are happy with it, fine. Divorce me anyway.
I will give you a divorce if you and your partner give me alimony. But if not, I will never divorce you.
Huh? You have money for the land. She's got nothing to do with this. This is our problem, right?
What are you talking about? This is a problem that you and your affair partner had caused. Of course she is involved.
It's all about money, isn't it?
Don't try to cover it up. And if you love your partner, why don't you just pay the alimony generously? Or is your relationship with your partner also about money? Ha ha ha.
Don't mess around with me.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm not messing around, but I guess you don't have a stomach for it. I feel sorry for the other woman's child. She's stuck with a man who got her pregnant and then abandoned his responsibility when his wife asked for alimony.
I will pay it. I'm not that kind of man. First of all, I've got your bank book right here. And worst of all, you can't just take them.
My husband snickers. I will give a big fat expose to this guy. It's hard being someone who does everything manually.
What? What's with you all of a sudden?
Banks these days have apps that let you transfer money. I will have the money in my account during this call. Don't you know that? I've moved on to online banking. I'm glad I let the call go on so long. It was a big success.
What?
You don't. You don't have the app or the PIN number. So you're gonna have to go to the bank every time you want to look it up. Tough luck. The struggles of the digitally challenged. My husband is speechless while I laugh. I guess he was more shocked than I expected. Shame. Now if you want a divorce, you will have to pay me alimony. You and your partner.
You are kidding.
It's true. You're boring for a guy who does such a big thing as cheating on his wife. You should at least say something good. You will pay alimony, right? You want to have a second life with your partner, don't you? Don't tell me you want to stay married to me because you can't afford it. Saying that, I deliberately provoked my husband again and again. If I don't divorce him, his baby would learn that his father was a scumbag. If he doesn't get a divorce, his mistress will have to support the child by herself. He will end up with no money, poor thing.
I won't pay it.
It was so funny that my husband was sobbing in the middle of the conversation, that I was more excited now than I had planned to be, and I couldn't help but provoke him. In the end, my husband realized that it would be the hell for him to stay married to me, and he chose to pay me alimony and live with his partner. I deliberately provoked him to think so. So it was all planned, because I don't think I would ever live with such a man again. And while my husband was sulking, I said, "If you don't want to be called a thief in front of your company, give me back the bank book, because I know where your mistress lives, and I don't care what happens to you." I threatened him, and he said in a quiet voice,
"Yes, I'm sorry."
I couldn't understand him because he was crying. I guess he was afraid of my provocation. After that, we discussed divorce, and it was decided to demand alimony from both the cheater and my husband. Well, actually, the cheating partner is pregnant and quit her job, so it seems that the husband is going to pay everything for the time being. As a matter of fact, he had proposed to share the property with me for the land. But I cited his criminal record of stealing my bank book and said to him, "Who are you to talk like that?" I was so hard on him that he gave up. I may have threatened him a little, but since he had a child with another woman and left his own parents to me, I guess I could be forgiven at least this much. My husband, who was supposed to be smiling with pride at having a lot of money and a luxury car, was worried about the fact that even his savings would be dried up in the future. It's hard to be the one who has to pay all the bills, isn't it? I thought about imitating a baby and saying, "Hang in there, Daddy," but decided against it, thinking it would be in bad taste. The cheater was quite nervous, but well, it wouldn't be good if something happened to the baby if I destroyed them too much. I'm so nice. It turns out that my ex-husband often left work after his mother had fallen ill and met with his girlfriend in between. But the company found out. Someone on paid leave saw him and the woman he was having an affair with working together. Due to this, he got a pay cut. There is alimony, money for the kid in the future, moving out of an apartment that's not suited for raising kids, and a whole bunch of other events that cost money. Maybe that's why, when we were discussing about divorce, the woman in me, who had detected his affair at an early stage, said that the couple might not last long because the cheating partner who was present at the meeting seemed a little cold toward my husband. Whether it is true or not is another story. On the other hand, I sold my land and moved to a new place, and now I'm working as an IT school teacher for children. Actually, I had the same job before I got married, so it was easy for me to find a job. I have never raised children myself, but there are so many children here that they all seem like my own. Many of them are shy, but they all love computers. They seem to think of me as someone they can talk about what they like. and they're completely comfortable with me. They are so cute that they come to the places where the instructors gather, even outside the class time. I hope that one day, these children will be in charge of the future of this country. Many of my co-workers are also single, so we all go out together on our days off. Being alone is not so bad when you have something to enjoy. I used to prepare dinner at a certain time, vacuum the house, and call it a day. I feel that I'm enjoying the present much more than when I was a housewife. I don't know what will happen in the future, but for the time being, I will enjoy this special luxury.